Chris from Games You Loved.
Hey, great.
What are you doing here? Have you come to show your wares or just come for a nosy round?
So these events for me, I suppose over the years, I think I went to the first one, a few of us from Games You Loved, would be Manchester 2014, so it's like 5 years ago now. And when you first come to one of these events, it's all about the wow, like it is a wow anyway after 5 years, but you play the games fully, you don't really know anybody, and you obviously go to the talks, a lot of really interesting talks. Some people, we saw Matthew Smith yesterday, so you get an opportunity to see those folk who are kind of your heroes, and you get to meet them, you get to hear their stories, backgrounds, I guess, and then you come away. But I guess over time, particularly, I guess now, you've got Twitter and Instagram, probably those two particularly, YouTube obviously, where whilst you've been interacting with these folk, you get to meet them as well. So in a roundabout way, I'm going to come back to your original question, which was what have I been doing? Mainly yesterday, just catching up with sort of like-minded fellows and ladies and just hanging out, talking about video games and playing some games with those guys. So yeah, I must have met like 30, 40 people that I regularly interact with on social media, and it's really nice, it's a good crowd here, the atmosphere is very relaxed, new venue, and been a really good 24 hours. So we're here on a Sunday now, just getting into the next day. Winding down a little bit. Yeah, it's been fantastic.
What have you been playing in the main room?
I had a little go of the consoles because I don't normally do that, so I was just playing a bit of R-Type on the PC Engine, which weirdly I've got at home anyway. But sometimes you don't get to sit down and sort of do it in an atmosphere. I quite like playing games. I think when other people are playing games, it's got a sort of thing about it. I mean, they had the arcades turned on last night with not many people around when they had an after party, which is cool. But I quite like an arcade that's busy. So arcade-wise, just playing a bit of Power Drift. Big fan of that game. I quite like the hydraulic version.
Yeah,
haven't got that here. Space Harrier, massive, huge fan of a rolling cab they have here. So I got a chance to play that. I haven't played that, I don't think, since the late 80s in Southend. Right. I'm sure they had one there. In fact, I have a photograph of my brother, which, if you follow us on Twitter, you might have seen, wearing his stonewashed jeans, his less mint green jacket, Deodora trainers, and a kind of Rick Astley kind of mullet.
He couldn't be more 80s, could he?
He had it all going on. He hates that picture, I think. But I put it up on a regular basis. So red carpet, Southend. I can't remember the name of the actual arcade, that one. It was a big old arcade. And a Dragons Lair as well. A Road Blasters, an Outrun, and a Space Harrier. I mean, it's like I'm like going into dreamland now.
I'm an Outrun fan as well.
You are, aren't you?
I love Outrun.
That's a cool T-shirt you have there. You can't see the T-shirt, but it's an Outrun T-shirt.
I've not mentioned this a lot online, but at the last Play Expo at Blackpool, I won the Dragons Lair tournament. I don't want to,
I don't want to talk about it, but you will now.
Yeah. I mean, when I say don't talk about it, I mentioned it daily for months online.
Fair enough.
I was quite proud of it.
So did you complete it then?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a one to do, isn't it?
Do you know what? Everyone was lined up to have a go on it, and everyone's getting 3 or 4 screens in, and everyone's having like a trial go to get used to controls and then having a go on it. Came to me, in normality, I'm quite a placid person. I'm not cocky in any way. I got on stage, and the guys handed me the controller and went, have a practice run first. And I went, I won't need it. And I winked. Why did I do that?
Because you knew that game inside out.
And I got on it. Yeah, I got to the end. I won a Mario Cup, which is completely unrelated.
Yeah, I was going to say, can't you win the cab? That would be pretty awesome, wouldn't it?
That would be superb. So you've been on a few cabs here.
Yeah.
If you were to own a cab, what would it be?
See, again, not everybody follows us on Twitter, but if you follow us, a few, in fact, Twitter's run by a few of us. Matt runs the Twitter, he does a sterling job, I have to say. He's probably more on the wrestling game side, he absolutely loves wrestling games, so he would go for, I guess, 4-player WrestleFest. I used to be Outrun. I mean, the game itself is beautiful, but having gone on that Space Harrier cab, just the look of the damn thing, it's just a work of art. So I think I've switched. I've seen, you've got the usual, there's lots of photos of it around, but having seen it, I love just looking at that cabinet next door and played on it. Man, it's like a fairground ride. Yeah. It really is. And I think that was the experience of that cab when I was a kid. I'm sure it was 10p. I'm sure it was in 1985, going back to when I first played it, I played it at Minehead in Butlins in 1985. And that And it was back in the day, no disrespect to these guys or other arcades that are running right now, but they definitely used to crank the sound up back in the day. You don't get arcades doing that now. Every machine was trying to outwin one another, but the one that did it to the max was that "Get ready, welcome to the Fantasy Zone," and that's what you used to hear over and over in the arcade. It would take out Popeye and Donkey Kong because it was just so loud. So having done that yesterday for the first time in, it's literally 30 years, I think they all disappeared, those Space Harrier cabs.
Yeah, I don't think they lasted very long because of the amount of use they got.
So they kind of, it's a bit of a shame really, because, you know, you kind of, I'm trying to think what cabs stuck around from the 80s, but the sort of stand-up Road Blasters and the Space Invaders lasted for years. Yeah, because you had the stand-up Space Harrier, but the Deluxe died a death.
Yeah.
It's nice to kind of recreate that one. It's quite hard, isn't it, that question that obviously pops out quite a lot on social media. What's your favourite game? I think it changes quite a lot, and it's quite a difficult thing to choose if you're into video games as much as a lot of us are. You know, I mean, I like other things as well as games. I love movies, you know, any kind of description. I don't have a particular genre, pretty open. But if somebody said, name your favourite movie, it'd be bloody tough, because I'd tell you one thing, and I'll say, for me, it's probably Raiders of the Lost Ark. And then I'll go, oh, Back to the Future, oh, Ghostbusters, and then you start reeling off Lethal Weapon and Die Hard, and you're like, oh no, there's too many. So you've got to have a, you know, probably a top 10, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, no one film has all the best moments in it. There's best moments in each film. You know, the Ghostbusters, you've got the Marshmallow Man. Gremlins, you've got, like, anything with Gizmo in it is just, you know.
Yeah.
If you were to make a best of the 80s film, it just have aspects from every film in it.
It's all about that, yeah.
No one film can be the best, because there's so many good things in different films.
No, most definitely.
What do you reckon to movie tie-in games? I've seen quite a few online. Villa Such played a lot of the elite ones, like the Fall Guy,
Okay, yeah.
Dukes of Hazzard, and the awful games. What do you think to any of the better ones?
I remember Highlander, which got slammed, I think. I was 12 years old, I guess. Just didn't really think about it in that way. I mean, I used to read reviews as a kid, but I don't think I was personally wasn't that influenced by reviews. You know, I mean, bought Run the Gauntlet, for Christ's sake. And actually quite like that game, because I like the TV show. It's cheap. I mean, I watched it back, the TV show. It's so unprofessionally done. Yeah. It really is, you know, shot on a camcorder type thing. It's almost like a thing now. It's two sides of a coin. One is that some of those are, you know, obviously bad games. But I think people like reviewing bad games. It's become a thing. It's almost like everybody's done the review of Streets of Rage, Sonic the Hedgehog, Street Fighter 2. Yeah. And, you know, yes, you could do a deeper history version or a slant on it, but there's so many people have done that game. It's now about, okay, what bit of hardware, what kind of game can we find that's obscure to do a thing about it? I tend to meander, sorry, when we have a conversation. So going back to your original question, what do I think of movie tie-in games? Generally, I'm pretty hot for them, you know. The good ones, so like Die Hard arcade, RoboCop, certainly in the arcade, and then, dare I say it, Highlander. It's not the greatest game of all time. I think the Fall Guy, I've got that. Commodore 64. The Transformers game wasn't that brilliant on the Spectrum, I don't think.
Spectrum is really bad. C64 was alright, but Spectrum was awful.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about that game. Pretty lame, isn't it? Compared to what the actual IP that it was based on, you'd expect a much better version of it. But there's, you know, there's obviously limitations as well with that. But then, you know, games like Cobra, it's a pretty good game, isn't it, on the Spectrum?
Yeah, still on.
You know, and obviously RoboCop on the Spectrum, the music and the animation.
Beautiful, beautiful game, that one. So consoles are one thing that I'm really into. I'm also into handhelds and desktop games.
Okay.
I believe you've got quite a big collection.
Yeah,
handhelds.
It's not that. I mean, compared to some of these fellas and ladies, I say ladies because Faye, Kingdom of Cards, is way outdoing me on the handhelds. If you follow her, she's just like, and she buys them every day.
Wow.
She's got so many. Tiger as well. They took them out bad games, but they look so good. They look really cool, the artwork, and there's a lot of them based on old arcade classics or classic Mega Drive games and Master System games. But yeah, I've got, I don't know, I've never really sat and counted. Most of them are car boot sales. I picked them up, you know, probably over the last 20 years for pennies, really. So I've got a fair few Tigers, Grandstand, various Kong games, because they made sort of rip-off. Crazy Kong, I think, is a Grandstand game. Quite fairly rare, that game. And I've got all the Coleco tabletops, which are a bit hard to come by now. So that's Frogger, this Pac-Man, Gallagher, Pac-Man. So they're like VFD, Retro Man Cave will tell you this technology.
Yeah, with the display.
That's it, yeah. And they still fire up, you know, after like 35 years, which is remarkable.
Is that how long you've had them for?
Some of them I've got from original, yeah. I mean, if you're talking handheld game, again, it's like fake, so it's BMX Flyer is the one. I mean, people go, what the hell game is that? But it's just the music. Now I've said it, I can hear that. And it's that and the, because it was coloured LCD, you know, which was pretty advanced for the time. But one thing I do love is, playing Game & Watches, which was, just like one colour. So when that came along, get like coloured display, it was pretty impressive.
It was mind-blowing.
It was.
Colour things.
It was. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
You're so used to overlays to create the colour and things like that. Yeah. But yeah, Game & Watches, probably got about 42 Game & Watches, something like that. Most of which I bought a long time ago. So now it's about trying to find the gems, obviously paying as little as I possibly can. That's the fun of it, the hunt, I guess, it's up to you, but I personally don't just want to go and buy it now and pay over the odds and you get the game, it's like, okay, I've got it, and for me, part of the fun of it is the hunt. And then I'm not into seal stuff, again, personally. Getting the game, playing it, firing it up, and sort of enjoying it now and again. I just picking it up every sort of, few months and putting the batteries in.
Just reliving it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I like the original concept of playing video games. I like to play on the original hardware, having the controller in my hand, a bit of a button guy, I do, I think it's amazing what people do, the developers do of phone and iPad games, but, personally like feeling a D-pad or a couple of buttons.
Something more tactile than just a screen.
Yeah, but, it's really cool to play modern games. Sometimes I have, sat on the train and played a few ports of it, because so many games are coming out on the mobile side, aren't they? There's guys from Antstream here. Yeah. They're going to bring all the retro classics onto your phone and stuff like that. So, yeah, massive resurgence, isn't it, really?
I saw the Antstream, and the fact that it's on tablet, great. Phone, great. I want to sit in my front room and play on a big telly. That's what I see gaming as.
Yeah.
So it's coming to Xbox as well, and that is perfect for me. I want a controller, I want a big telly, I want the front room TV to be the games thing for me. I'm okay with little handhelds, but I'm not really a phone gamer at all.
No.
Tablet gamer now. I want a controller. Well, answer me this then. Last question.
Go on.
Answer me this.
I might not answer. You build it up so much.
Which is better, Spectrum or Commodore 64?
In what respect? So I'm going to drill you back on there, because you've got graphics, gameplay, sound. Sound we know about. I mean, there's some good sounding bits on Spectrum, but I think the SID chip, and the sound of the sort of arpeggios and that from the Commodore. Something like Commando, Rob Hubbard, it's just beautiful sounding game, isn't it, really?
It is.
Some of the stuff that the late great Ben Daglish made as well, Last Ninja, Matt Bray. I think the Commodore pips it on the sound. Even, I was a specky boy, but the range of games, so many games, like 10, 15,000 games probably on a Spectrum. I would say it pips it, and it was the computer that I had. I had a mate who had a Commodore. He was always a bit posh, I think. Not particularly, because you're probably more posh if you had a BBC Micro.
Yeah.
You were probably the headmaster's son or something. But again, not knocking the BBC, and great little machine, or big machine. But so yeah, I think overall, because I own one, I mean, that's why it's, again, a nostalgia factor. And not all the games were fantastic, but yeah, I could definitely pick a top 100 there in the Spectrum category.
Okay.
So it wins for me.
Excellent.
Shoot me down, Commodore people. It's not as good as an Amiga, though.
Oh, I was going to say
or an Atari ST as well.
ST, yeah.
Those two, put them up. They're as good as each other,
Yeah, fair dues.
Dungeon Master on the ST, that's a real memory
That's
for me.
the one. That was superb.
Yeah. And Test Drive as well, I like that.
You ever go on hard driving?
Yes, yeah, it's pretty good.
Driving with a mouse is a bit weird.
Yeah, it was a bit. Now, my brother had an Atari ST, and I used to hog it a bit, but he used to let me have a go, and had a fairly decent collection of games. So he did a full-on paper round, and all his money went on computer games. And yeah, Dungeon Master was a mind-blowing game for the time. Must be about 1986, 85, that game. 85 even. Brilliant.
So Ryan from Numskull Games,
Hello.
what are you doing here in Play Expo Manchester?
So I'm just seeing everyone really. Loads of awesome YouTubers and influencers and podcasters like yourself. Loads of people here that I just want to go around and meet. And non-work wise, obviously I want to try and play lots of arcade games. So yeah, just an awesome event so far. Awesome.
Did you get on many machines at all the weekend? Have they been a bit full?
I have, I've been kind of busy the first day. Today I've managed to play a bit of Dance Dance Revolution, which is my jam. I love some DDR. But yeah, I've been able to play a few arcade cabinets.
I've seen some quite big queues for things like Space Harrier and Outrun.
Yeah, it's all the kind of moving cabinets, that's the more interactive-y ones, I suppose, that seem to have the queues, which makes sense. It's kind of like a family event here, so people are queuing, and the more eventful kind of ones are popular.
And who have you met while the weekend?
Oh my goodness, who have I met? I've met so many people, I'm struggling to even list them. So I came with Chris from Games You Love, that popped, because we live really nearby. Came with him, I've met obviously yourself, Aravel, Jason Bradbury, Tris Bites, pretty much everyone really, like pretty much the entire UK retro crowd, I'd say, of streamers and YouTubers, podcasters, they're all kind of here, which is marvellous. I mean, it's been fantastic to see everyone.
It is quite a massive event, really, isn't it? It's quite central in the UK, quite easy for people to get to, but it's shocking how many people have turned up. Because normally, if you have like an event at a certain location, not everyone can get to that.
Yeah.
I think having it in Manchester has really helped with everyone coming from all sides, I think.
Yeah, I think it helps it just not being London-based once, because obviously I'm more London-centric anyway. You know, for stuff like this, it's not ridiculous travel. Like, it took me maybe 3-4 hours to get here, which, you know, if I'm staying for the weekend, isn't awful. So yeah, it seems like a lot of people have been able to make it, which is great. Only a few people off the top of my head that were saying that they wanted to come and couldn't. So yeah, it seems like it's been a pretty good place for everyone to be able to come to.
You've been quite easy to spot walking around Play Expo Manchester. You've been carrying Pac-Man around with you.
Yeah.
Not the full machine, but a quarter-sized machine.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Okay. So it's the Quarter Arcades quarter-scale Pac-Man arcade cabinet. Long title. But hint in the name, it's a quarter-scale Pac-Man arcade cabinet. So for those that haven't seen it, it is literally a perfect replica of the original arcade cabinet. So whereas some companies are kind of releasing these cabinets that have 3-in-1 games and stuff, people building their own arcade cabinets, we're very aware of that sort of thing. And we're aware of, if you want to play Pac-Man, you can just Google the word Pac-Man and simply on your phone. But we're very aware of that. So for us, it's more about this being a collectible than it is about Pac-Man necessarily. So it's about those that grew up with Pac-Man can have that in their home in the most authentic way. Because here in the UK especially, people can't really fit in a giant arcade cabinet for every game they love, unfortunately. The cabinet's made of real wood, it's made of real metal, it's playable, of course, it has a board with the original ROM, displays like the original, it has a nice clicky joystick. This one comes with a collectible coin, and they're limited to 10,000 units, so you get a certificate saying which number unit yours is. And yeah, we'll be doing Galaga, Galaxium, there's Pac-Man in the future. Those are the only ones we've announced so far, so Namco ones. Obviously, it is all officially licensed. And we've been talking with lots of other companies as well, so kind of everything is a possibility for the range. So yeah, quite exciting. We've had a really good reception of this so far, so it's been quite shocking. People have been stopping me around the event, asking where I got it from, so that's good.
I think the one I'm looking forward to most is Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah, that's what everyone's been saying. They're looking forward to Ms. Pac-Man, yeah.
And Galaga's coming out shortly, is that right?
Galaga is the next one, yeah, so that would be August, September. So the pre-orders, for Numskull products, we usually launch the pre-orders about 2 months before launch. So we're looking at maybe July-ish kind of pre-order period, so that's when we'll be really kicking it off with that, yeah.
And Numskull seem to do a lot of licensed things for so many IPs.
Yeah.
Which ones are your favourites?
Oh wow, my personal favourites. So I like, obviously I grew up with sort of PS1 games, so I'm really pleased to be working with things like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, Mortal Kombat. We're kind of blessed really that I'd say we are perhaps one of the largest gaming merchandisers in the world, just because we have such a quick turnout with our products, whereas a lot of companies maybe don't, so publishers get a bit fed up with that, because it's a long process really to create this kind of stuff, even just something simple. We work with Capcom, we work with Konami, Bandai, Disney, Marvel, Bethesda, pretty much literally everyone. You name it really, we kind of work with every publisher now.
My wife was choosing the clothes for yesterday, and she went with a Numskull Street Fighter 2 t-shirt.
Nice.
She's a huge fighter fan.
Nice. Yeah. The Street Fighter range is pretty decent. That was received well. That was one of our earlier ones, I think, actually, the Street Fighter range, yeah.
So, gaming-wise, do you have any consoles? Do you have any computers?
Oh yeah, so tons really. I mean, I collect games and consoles and stuff. So I have. The first games I ever played was DOS games, the DOS PC. So if I had the space, I'd like to have an old 90s DOS PC in my home, which I no doubt will do when I move out and get my own place. I will probably have an actual old school PC. That's what I would like. And then I've got the PS1, PS2, 3, 4, all the Xboxes, and then I collect older consoles as well before my time. So how many consoles do I have? I probably have about 40 consoles. Just sitting around at my parents' home with them. So.
What do you think about the re-released Mini NES, Mini SNES?
Yeah, so for me, I like it. I like it as a collectible, perhaps. But the way I look at it is, if I'm buying games, I want kind of the original, authentic experience. So I like to have, if I want to play an NES game, I want to have the actual NES cartridge in my hands. Or, if I just want convenience, I can just have a RetroPie.
Yeah.
So the NES Mini, I did buy them, but mostly as like an ornament, really, like just as a piece to have. Yeah, for me, there wasn't quite enough games on it for me to be playing it frequently.
Yeah, I think they're a great way for new gamers to get into old games.
Yeah, absolutely. Or for parents to show what they grew up with their kids and stuff. Yeah. The NES Mini and the SNES Mini combined have about 10 million units sold, or something close to that. And when you think that the Wii U sold only a little bit more than that. so yeah, I mean, they're sold almost as much as a modern console did. Yeah, it's crazy.
So do you use emulators at all for older games?
Yeah, I do. I have them. I can't say I actually end up using them very much, but I have them on my computer. But yeah, again, for me, like just the authentic experience of the actual games is a big part of it for me. So having the actual physical product, it's certainly less convenient to be playing that way, but I enjoy it.
And your Pac-Man arcade machine, where can people buy one? If they want
so
one?
You can buy it. So our website is numskull.com, and then that will link to some of the retailers that stock it, primarily geekstore.com. They have free UK shipping and whatnot, but it is available kind of everywhere around the world. So if you go into your local game store or GameStop or EB Games, wherever you are based, then it should be in there. But yeah, numskull.com if you're not sure where it is.
And how soon is Galaga coming out?
So Galaga should be soon. So we were hoping to already have it out, but we're gamers ourselves. Like, we legitimately care about this sort of thing. We care about the preservation of the product and the whole shebang. We want to be faithful to our customers. So there was some feedback we received about there were some glitches on the original cabinets. We released a firmware update, and that unfortunately delayed Galaga by a couple of months. So we're looking at about August, September now. So within the next few months, so sometime before that, we should have the pre-orders live. So really soon, real soon.